Hey, what is up? Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video. I'm super excited to show you exactly how I went from 22% body fat and stuck to becoming strong, more focused and in control without sacrificing my career, without sacrificing weekends with family and friends, and certainly without sacrificing my sanity. It all kicked off for me in 2018. I was 88 kilos and 22% body fat. And look, I'd been going to the gym for years, right? But I had absolutely nothing to show for it, as you can see on the left. I was carrying a lot of my fat around my midsection and felt slow and heavy. And look, I wasn't obese, right? But I wasn't fit either. And Sam, on the other hand, started a year later in 2019. He was the opposite, weighed a measly 58 kilos, had a very narrow frame and could barely fill out a t-shirt. And he'd always been the skinny guy, right? The guy who could eat anything and not gain anything. But that eventually caught up with him and he didn't look strong and he certainly didn't feel it either. We both looked in the mirror and we knew we were nowhere near our potential. We weren't happy with what we saw, but we didn't know how to change it. And what was funny is we were making progress everywhere else in our lives apart from our own health. As our careers took off, training pretty much disappeared. Life got busy. We had early mornings, late nights, deadlines, commutes, social plans, family plans. Basically, there was something always more important. I was working super long hours, trying to eat whatever was easiest and convincing myself I'd get back on track once things slowed down. But I mean, the reality is working in corporate, they never do. And Sam was doing exactly the same in finance, spending most of his day sitting, commuting and basically trying to hold it together. And by the time he got home, he couldn't even cook a proper meal or go to the gym because training just felt like another job. He was drained. And from the outside, we looked like we were doing well. We were earning, building careers, living the normal routine, but we were both running on empty. The energy, the focus, and the confidence we once had were gone. And it soon stopped being, I'll fix this when life slows down, and eventually became, what if this is just who I am now? Every single morning, I'd button up that shirt, I'd tug it over my belly, and I'd feel that rush of embarrassment even before I even left the house. And Sam felt it too. He'd catch his reflection in the mirror, and he just genuinely looked flimsy, and certainly not the man he envisioned becoming. And to make matters worse, we were showing up for everyone else, our colleagues, friends, family, yet neglecting the one person we're stuck with for life, ourselves. And that's when we realized rock bottom isn't some dramatic event. It's the quiet moment you recognize you're becoming someone you never planned to be. And that's when it hit me one morning before work. I had everything going for me, right? Good job, stable routine, but that one thing lacked. I hated what I saw in the mirror. I looked tired, I looked soft, and nothing like the man I wanted to be. And a few months later, I was at Sam's place telling him I'd had enough and I was ready for making a real change. And that conversation stuck with him. He decided he wanted to start as well, but wanted to remember exactly where he began. And so that picture you see on the right is the one I took for him on that very day. And that is exactly when everything shifted for us. We stopped talking about change and we actually took action. And so we threw ourselves into the deep end. We tried every single so-called optimal gym routine we could find. Push, pull, legs, full body, you name it, 6 days a week, spent hours chasing progress that just never seemed to last. And look, at first it did feel like something was happening, but soon we were constantly sore, drained, and mentally checked out. And effectively, we realized this wasn't sustainable. And we took the same approach with our nutrition as well. We followed the same narrative that everyone preaches. Eat clean, cut carbs, track everything, right? But the reality is we ended up resenting it because at the end of the day, we just looked at food as numbers. And yet we kept pushing forward because we thought that's what discipline looks like. And in the end, all it resulted in was inconsistency with our food. And look, our bodies might have looked a bit better on the surface, but our energy was gone and our minds were in overdrive. And we even picked up injuries pretty much every other month because we didn't know what we were doing. And soon training started to feel like another job, not something that we actually enjoyed anymore. And it became clear at that point that the problem wasn't our work ethic. We were putting in everything we had. We had nothing left to give. The issue was that everything we were doing wasn't designed for our lives. And even when we skipped a session, we felt guilty. We felt like something was missing. And whilst we seem to be getting fitter on paper, this wasn't sustainable in real life. The more we pushed, the more the rest of life suffered. Social plans, family plans, hobbies, even sleep. Basically anything that wasn't training just felt like it was getting in the way of progress. And the worst part is that we actually convinced ourselves that this struggle was normal. Maybe this is what it takes. Maybe I need more discipline. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe if I can't stay consistent, it's me. And we started to question what we were doing. If staying in shape means sacrificing everything else that matters, then something's got to be wrong with the plan, right? But we kept going, kept chasing our tails until one day we met a coach who told us that we were doing everything wrong, and he completely tore apart our plan. Instead of doing 2-hour workouts, he cut our sessions down to 30 to 45 minutes. Instead of aggressive dieting and calorie obsession, he had us first eat more to fix what was on our plate. Instead of slamming heavy weights and killing our bodies in every workout, he rebuilt our training around maximizing recovery and real life constraints. See, we did the opposite of what we'd been doing for years. Instead, now we were having fewer hours, smarter structure, and habits that we could actually sustain. In effect, he taught us to avoid stupidity before chasing brilliance. And that mindset shift changed everything. Because when we did it the right way, it took less time and delivered more results. I mean, within a year, progress went from slow to explosive. We built these elite level calisthenics physiques. We started doing muscle ups, one-arm pull-ups, levers, flags, handstand push-ups, all on demand. We were even competing, performing and pushing our limits like never before. And that confidence spilled into everything else that we did. I left my corporate job. I built Versus Gravity from scratch. Sam was climbing the corporate ladder and dominating his field. And since then, we've gone on to do things like running ultra marathons, powerlifting meets, all whilst we've been busier than ever. And look, we're now 30, right? I'm a husband, a father, and yet we're stronger, fitter, and more disciplined than we ever were at 21. By plugging the holes in our health and fitness routine, we were able to grow uninhibited. And that's when I realized so many people are making the same crucial mistake that we did all those years. It wasn't because they were lazy or not motivated enough or didn't want to change. It was that they were overworking themselves for change that didn't have to be that hard. So after transforming ourselves, we had so many people ask us, guys, how did you do this? Right? And so one question remained in our minds. Could our system work for other people like us with corporate careers, families, busy social lives, and real commitments? And so that's when we dived into coaching and decided to find out. So I want you to meet Nevin, a software engineer who's 26 years old, working super long hours. And he came to us after a serious spinal injury from doing heavy barbell squats, which left him in constant back pain. I mean, he genuinely thought his training days were behind him and feared he'd never move pain-free again. But within just 3 months of rebuilding his body through short and effective calisthenics workouts that centered around recovery, more so than anything else for him, he gained nearly 3 kilos of muscle, eliminated his back pain for good, and unlocked his first muscle up and handstand, all because he started to train smarter and he felt stronger than ever as a result. And what about Joe, working in risk and insurance at 30 years old? He's balancing long hours at work, but also late night studying sessions as well, right? And he felt trapped in that classic skinny fat physique, as you can see on the left, which drained him of any confidence. I mean, social situations were so bad that he was getting anxious, right? And no amount of gym effort he seemed to do changed how he felt or looked. But in just 16 weeks of implementing our system, Joe dropped nearly 8.5 kilos of fat, revealed his abs for the first time, and unlocked his first weighted pull-ups, despite the fact that he couldn't do a single pull-up at the start. And more than just the physical change, he built an unshakable sense of confidence that now shows up in every part of his life. From his relationships to his career, he even went on to run marathons, and now he's doing better than ever. And finally, I want you to meet Lauren. She's 34, a midwife, and is a mother of 3 kids. And working unpredictable shifts as a midwife meant that she struggled for nearly a decade to make progress. Every time she did make progress, life would just get in the way. And so to tackle this, to get her making sustainable, lifelong progress, Instead of working against what her schedule said, we worked with it and built a flexible routine around everything. And in just 16 weeks of working on this system, she lost over 20 pounds of fat, rebuilt her confidence, and finally found a rhythm she could sustain without stepping foot in a gym for life. And the funny thing is, she worked out entirely from home. So our system has worked for people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. People from all variety of backgrounds. Parents, shift workers, people who have never trained before, all the way up to people who are maybe a bit more athletic. And even those coming back from long injuries and breaks. You might be thinking, well, all of that sounds great, but why have I failed in the past? Well, for starters, you probably felt like you didn't have the time. You keep telling yourself you're going to start when life slows down or gets less hectic, but you know as well as I do, being an adult with responsibilities, that day doesn't come. It's not that you don't care, right? You clearly care. You're watching this video. It's just that you're stretched thin between work, relationships, trying to have a life. Fitness always seems to be at the bottom of the list, and it's only natural it is. The problem isn't time. It's not having a structure that works within the time you already have. And look, this second one I have been so guilty of in the past, and I know so many people are as well. You've been training for years, right? But progress has stalled. And the reason is because you're following random workouts online, chasing pumps, trying to learn new skills without a clear plan that's built for you. It's not for a lack of effort, right? It's effort without direction, which is the reason why you're not moving forward. No one's actually ever showed you how to train, eat, and recover in a way that actually builds long-term strength and muscle in a way that's specific to you. Now, I've seen this next one so many times, I can figure it all out on my own. It starts well, you start strong for a few weeks, but then life hits, right? Long hours, stress, missed meals, skipped workouts. Basically, without having someone to keep you accountable, it's so easy to fall off and tell yourself, I'm going to get back on track next week. But if knowledge was all that it took, then everyone would be jacked. There's so much information out there, right? But that's not the reality. The real difference maker for people like you with real responsibilities is accountability. Having someone in your corner, making sure you follow through, even on the weeks when life punches you in the face. And finally, you've probably tried every plan under the sun, right? Gym programs, YouTube tutorials, 6-week challenges, the whole nine. They all fail for the same reason. Right? They weren't built for you. Your body, your schedule, your recovery needs, they are very different to a 20-year-old influencer. What works for them doesn't work for someone with a career, with deadlines, with real responsibilities. So what makes our method built to last different? Well, firstly, it's built for people who want real results without sacrifice. You see, our system is made for those balancing work, family, and everything else that life throws their way. We understand the demands of life. Every phase is structured to fit your schedule, so you can make serious progress without giving up the things that matter most, like birthdays, holidays, time with family and friends. It gives you structure that builds, not burns out. No random workouts or overcomplicated routines you find on Instagram. Instead, each phase follows a clear progression, which helps you get stronger, master skills with your body weight, and sculpts your body whilst managing your recovery and energizing you, no matter what your level. It gives you real coaching and accountability that keeps you consistent, so follow through doesn't depend on motivation. Okay, you're going to get real feedback, expert guidance, and you'll always know exactly what to do every step of the way, so that you'll know what to do and how to adjust when life gets chaotic. And of course, this isn't a 6-week challenge or a temporary fix. We're going to help you build habits, strength, and confidence that stay with you for good, even when the program ends. So our Built to Last system helps you rebuild strength, confidence, and routine in just 5 simple steps without burning out or starting over again. Starting off with reset and rewire. Now here we're going to strip back all of the noise and build a system that fits your bodies, your goals, and your schedule, which will create instant clarity and momentum from day one. And we do this by having a deep onboarding process where we audit everything that's going on right now, unpacking your goals, your current level, your lifestyle demands, to personalize that first phase around your strengths, your weaknesses, and your preferences. Now look, Sam and I know that getting life-changing results extends far further than just the normal pillars of fitness. We have to look at what happens outside of your training, and so we help you build simple habits to create momentum where it matters most, and eventually transition you into a complete daily routine that's entirely personalized to you, so that we build consistency throughout. And to make sure we understand your eating patterns and habits, we're going to get you to keep a very simple food journal so that we understand everything that's going on. Now, with that structure in place, we dial in training precision. Every single workout we give you is adapted to your progress until effectively discipline feels effortless. We're going to give you personalized calisthenics and hybrid training workouts built around your body, your level, your schedule, and your goals. You're going to have your own personal calisthenics skill path, which again matches where you're at right now and progresses in clear stages when you're ready. And all of this is done with your schedule in mind. We're going to give you time efficient workouts that span no more than 45 minutes because we know that your time is precious. And of course, to make sure that you actually understand what to do differently from workout to workout, we're going to give you weekly video feedback and analysis so you always understand how to tweak things. And of course, we're going to adjust the entire plan on a weekly basis based on your progress, based on your recovery and your schedule so that the results keep on coming. Now, no system would be complete without looking at fuel. And so alongside your training, we optimize the two biggest drivers of long-term success, and that is nutrition and recovery. You're going to learn how to fuel your body correctly, manage stress, and recover properly so that you can get results forever. And to do that, you're going to have direct access to the nutritionist on our team, Daniela, who's going to help you by building a custom meal plan that you will actually stick to and that's built around the foods that you enjoy. And now look, we're going to go a step further than this and actually deliver fresh goal-aligned meals that fit within your calories and macros straight to your door. And on top of that, you're going to have a full recipe library and shopping list to remove all the guesswork so that when you do go for your weekly food shop, you know exactly what to get. Now, all of this is done whilst we manage and adjust your nutrition on a weekly basis based around your energy, your training, and your schedule changes. Now, that's all good, but how do we know that it's actually going to work? Well, we get underneath the hood and we analyze what's going on a microscopic and a hormonal level. And based on that, we're going to give you recovery habits that allow you to improve your sleep, your hydration, and your stress. And in effect, not only are you going to get stronger and more energized and more vital, you're going to know how to maintain this for the rest of your life. And we deliver all of this alongside giving you one-to-one accountability, because you see, real results come from having that expert guidance and consistent feedback. You're going to have direct one-to-one access to your entire team of experts, right? You're going to have monthly progress audits so that we can refine goals and make sure that everything is moving in the right direction. And of course, you're going to have daily accountability through our private chat thread, so you're never left wondering what to do next. And by the end of the process, you're going to be dominating and reinventing who you are. Because this is where everything clicks. The plan, the habits, the mindset. You stop chasing results and you start living them. Because by this stage, you've mastered how to train, mastered how to eat and recover without second guessing. Now we're going to take it a step further and we're going to reinforce those habits, unlock new skills, and future-proof your results so that they last for life. We're going to give you a personalized maintenance plan for travel, holidays, and high-stress periods. And of course, you're going to have lifetime access to the Built to Last community for continued accountability and guidance. And effectively, you're going to leave this process with an unshakable identity as someone who never starts over again. So if you're someone who's ready to build a strong, lean, and capable body that actually lasts without spending hours in the gym, restricting every food you enjoy, burning out and falling off again, or wondering whether you're doing the right things, then here's what to do. Click the calendar below and lock in your free strategy session to learn more. Now, keep 45 to 60 minutes free for this. Be in a quiet place with no distractions and be ready to take action. Because Built to Last isn't just a training program. It's a blueprint for mastering your body, your habits, and your identity for life. And it all starts with one simple decision: to stop starting over and to finally build something built to last.